Tremblement de terre. Écoute les pleurs des pauvres, les pleurs de la terre. Au secours, sauvez-les pour la gloire du Seigneur.
Renuevo mi llamado urgente.
From the earth, our common home is falling apart, is on fire. Climate change is a modern day spiritual challenge. Grazie Santo Padre Papa Francesco per Laudato Si.
Laudato Si, celebration. Laudato Si, oh mi Signore.
Laudato Si, celebration. Laudato Si, oh mi Signore. Laudato Si celebration. Laudato Si celebration. Laudato Si, oh mi Signore. Laudato Si generation. Laudato Si, oh mi Signore. Laudato Si celebration. Laudato Si, oh mi Signore. Laudato Si generation. Laudato Si, oh mi Signore.
Lord, you love everything you have created, and nothing exists outside the mystery of your tenderness. Every creature, no matter how small, is the fruit of your love and has a place in this world. Even the simplest or shortest life is surrounded by your care. Like St. Francis of Assisi, today we too want to say, praised be you, my Lord. Through the beauty of creation, you reveal yourself as a source of goodness. We ask you, open our eyes to recognize you, learning from the mystery of your closeness to all creation, that the world is infinitely more than a problem to solve. It is a mystery to be contemplated with gratitude and hope. Help us to discover your presence in all creation, so that in fully recognizing it, we may feel and know ourselves to be responsible to this common home where you invite us to care for, respect, and protect life in all its forms and possibilities. Praised be you, Lord. Amen.
Tuliamua ya kwamba kwa sababu ya changamoto ya kupatikana kwa kiangazi ambayo inatutesa, inatuletea maafa ya mifugo yetu na inatuletea hasara mingi na inatusababishia kukosa chakula. Baada ya kiangazi inafuatana na mafuriko. Hiyo changamoto yote inaletwa na mambo ya mazingira. Na ndio sababu tumeamua kama serikali ya kwamba tunapanda miti bilioni 15 Kenya kwa miaka 10 ijayo. Katika harakati hiyo ya kupanda miti bilioni 15 hapa Kaptagat, mimi nimefurahi ya kwamba tayari miti karibu milioni 2 imepandwa. Jana peke yake PS wangu wa mambo ya misitu Bwana Mugambi ananiambia tumepanda hapa jana peke yake miti 50,000 katika forest hii ya Kaptagat. Na mimi nimekuja kuchangia leo asubuhi hapo, nimeng'ang'ana hata na mimi tumepanda miti 5,000. Ala, simu nipigie makofi kidogo hiyo. So hiyo miti 5,000 tumepanda hapa saa hizi. Na ndio mimi nataka niwaulize Wakenya katika sehemu zote. Mambo ya mazingira ni mambo ya muhimu sana. Ndio inatusaidia kuhakikisha ya kwamba tuko na mito, tuko na maji, ile ambayo tutatumia kuongeza mambo ya chakula, tupate vile ya kupunguza gharama ya maisha na vile ya kupeleka taifa letu la Kenya mbele.
In addition, we are doing the 15 billion tree directives by the president by the year 2032. We are aiming to plant 15 billion trees so that we can be able to get the 30% tree cover by that year. Today we planted an indigenous plant because we wanted to take as many years as it's possible, because we are not planting it in the name of harvesting it. We are planting in a name for it to do the conservation work for so many years.
And so we are being called to make peace with creation, and that includes taking action, taking a next step towards caring for our common home. We cannot just continue to let the environment continue to deteriorate under our watch. It is all our collective responsibility and a moral responsibility, and furthermore, as Laudato Si insists, a spiritual responsibility for us to take action for our common home, whether that is a cleanup or an advocacy moment, or even just working together with your congregation to implement agroecology activities.
Pili, mpenzi mtazamaji, kumbuka ya kuwa awamu ya pili inasheheni mjadala ambao unahusiana na utunzi wa mazingira. Kumbuka ya kwamba ni mwito kuu ambao umetokea katika ofisi kubwa ya kikanisa. Baba Mtakatifu anaendeleza kazi yake, mtangulizi Baba Mtakatifu Francisco ambaye alitutangulia. Vile vile pia mataifa yanajikita kabisa katika masuala ya mazingira, akiwemo Rais wa Taifa la Jamhuri ya Kenya Daktari William Ruto, ambaye kwa hakika amejitia hamnazo na kujituma kweli kweli kwa kupanda miti, kwa kuosha, kwa kusafisha mito ikiwemo mto Nairobi, na kubuni magari ambayo ni ya kielektroniki na ziita vehicles. Mtazamaji, yote haya ikiwa ni kabiliana na uchafuzi wa mazingira, ikiwemo hewa, maji pamoja na rotuba, yani mchanga. Ndani ya chumba hiki ninaye mgeni ambaye anajulikana kama Steeven Kezamutima. Steve, yes. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yes. How have you been?
I've been very well. I'm very happy to be here at Captain TV.
Yes.
First of all, me being a Franciscan, I'm a lay Franciscan,
yes.
So I feel at home. So I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you. I feel free at home.
Thank you so much.
Talking about Laudato Si.
Yes.
For someone who doesn't have a clue
yes.
what it is, actually, what is Laudato Si?
Laudato Si is an encyclical letter. The very first letter that Pope Francis wrote in 2015 to the world. You know, we used to have before other encyclical letters written by other popes to the church, members, Catholic Church. But this letter came to the world, everybody included, not only Catholics, because this letter came with a very important message related to the care for our common home. Pope Francis is talking about our common home,
yes,
which is on fire. And this is about climate justice. Pope Francis is calling us to listen to the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor. And you know, the climate change, we've been talking about it, many movements and activists taking action. But it is until Pope Francis wrote Laudato Si that now the world started to see the role of the Catholic Church stepping in, taking action, Catholic Church owning this agenda and bringing it in a very special way, where Pope Francis tells us that the integral ecology, so the climate justice has an aspect of integral ecology, which means, as Pope Leo XIV also is talking about it, and we are happy that he has also picked that agenda and taken it seriously, is that there are many dimensions around climates, around environments. Environment si kupanda miti peke yake. We need to understand in paragraph 49, I invite everybody who is watching this in the Laudato Si. It is on internet, people can Google, can have it in PDF, others have it in books in some libraries. In paragraph 49, Pope Francis says that as we discuss about environmental justice, we must integrate issues of social justice so that you can be able to hear both the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor. What does he mean by this? You remember when COVID-19 came?
Yes.
The first solution that the world were given, it was water, boil water, keep drinking hot water, clean water, and we needed water.
As you wash the hands.
And you wash the hands,
Sure.
but also drink hot water. That was also enough. But everything was around water. Then a question of justice comes in. What about communities that have been suffering even to have a drop of water?
Yes.
When you have a global pandemic and the water becomes a solution, and you have many communities, and you know them, even in Kenya we have them that suffer to have a drop of water. That is where now we question the systems. Why are people not having water? And you can even now, Laudato Si gives us actually opportunity of asking many questions. Why do we have people who don't have something to eat, do not have water? Why do we have poor people, and yet we know that God created this? We go back to the gospel of creation. Laudato Si starts, the discussion starts from the gospel of creation. God created everything for everybody. So if there is a good share, there's good governance, you see how it affects everything.
Sure.
If there is no corruption in sharing the good, the public good, that everything that God created gave us. Even a country like Kenya, a country like DRC that is suffering today with the war and everything that people are exploiting. Why do people who live in luxury in countries that are plenty and rich do not have access? So Laudato Si came to open our mind and our eyes and to touch our hearts. That is where Pope Francis tells us that actually the climate change is a moral and a spiritual challenge. We need now to question our moralities.
Yes.
We need to question, how do we interact with the creation? How do we consume? Why do we eat a lot? Why do we grab, keep enriching ourselves, forgetting that there are other generations to come? So we are also interconnected, and everything is interconnected. That is another key message in Laudato Si. So
Yes.
it was a letter, but later now a movement was born.
Yes.
The same year, 2015.
Yes.
Actually, this year we are celebrating 10 years anniversary
Sure.
of Laudato Si as an encyclical letter, but also of Laudato Si movement, which was now born to put into action the message in that letter of Pope Francis, to make sure his will and his message is disseminated to the ground in the communities and the parishes through the church structures, bringing on board also many partners from different faiths and different groups to take action.
So if I may ask Steve, what exactly is the role of Laudato Si movement across Africa?
Thank you so much. That is a very interesting question.
Sure.
Because I am programs coordinator. I'm in charge of many programs.
Yes,
with my colleagues. We have the African office here in Kenya, but our eyes are in all countries in Africa.
Yes.
And our role is actually based on 3 objectives that we have. One first objective as a movement globally, it is to develop the ecological conversion. We need people to be grounded in faith, to look at environment as St. Francis of Assisi started it, because Laudato Si is rooted also from the Canticle of Creatures. It is St. Francis of Assisi who named all items of creation, named trees, the brother sun, sister water, mother earth, because it is through creation that we can see God. So to respect environments and to respect also our brothers and the neighbors, brothers and sisters, because we are also part of environment, knowing that action that you are taking, a wrong action that you take, affects your neighbor. It is a simple thing to understand when you open even a sewage.
Yes.
You know that it's going to affect the whole communities. When you cut down trees, you know whatever it will bring impact will affect the whole societies, not only one person. But now we have even dangerous things that are happening that people are not daring to talk about, which are the main causes of climate change. This is the fossil fuel industries.
Yes.
You know, many years in Africa, multinationals, countries first starting by our colonizers, they have been exploiting our countries from slavery, the moment of colonization. They've been exploiting our gold, minerals, and the oil, gas, and the coal. We have countries that have suffered for many years, and this is time that we are supposed to be recovering after independence. But we see a situation where the colonial masters are coming back to our countries as multinationals in the name of companies, in the name of bringing developments. But in a real sense, if you go to in the communities, now that we read it in Laudato Si paragraph 51, I'm inviting everybody to read that and understand what Pope Francis in Laudato Si calls ecological debt between the global north and the global south. Our countries, many in Africa, that are labeled as global south countries because of poverty. The main cause is the debt that has been enforced on them, and yet the global north have developed themselves from the resources that they got from the global south.
Maybe,
and
Steve,
this is now where countries are suffering, and the Laudato Si is bringing now the awareness to make sure people are aware of that aspect of what is happening to our common home.
Yes.
And secondly, the second objective is to make sure we change our lifestyle. We are subjected today to a system of consumerism, where companies still are imposing to us. You will see how people, the type of phones are keeping changing, and you need to question where these phones are coming, the products that they are using from countries like DRC, where the cobalt, and the war that is happening in those areas, the blood that is shed behind all this. So that is where the moral aspect is, and we need to change a lifestyle so that we live simple, we consume less, and we go back to our roots. We don't continue consuming what is coming from where we don't know. And the last objective that guides us is raising a prophetic voice.
Yeah.
We need the church today. We are celebrating the year of pilgrimage, and also pilgrimage of church, and we are of hope, and we are raising a prophetic voice also to the world that people need to wake up and speak. The church to be the voice of the poor, of marginalized, or people affected, to be the voice of environment. The earth cannot speak, trees cannot speak, but there is a lot that is being, our earth is wounded and our communities are affected. So we need to talk also about that. So we have campaigns now that are related to those environmental distractions that are happening.
Yes.
We have campaigns that are on advocacy also for the community that are being affected. And we are also working on engaging the church structures, starting by Conference of Bishops, even at African level, starting by the Symposium of Episcopal Conference of Bishops in Africa and Madagascar, SECAM, AMESEA region. Then we go country by countries. But then we go down to the church structures, start working with church agents like Caritas, Commission of Justice and Peace, and the small Christian communities to make sure there is awareness in the church and to make sure our priests can preach about environmental degradation and they give solution and engaging Catholics and non-Catholics outside there to collaborate in restoring our common home and giving hope and the solutions.
All right, Steve. Given the urgent need of stopping the impact of climate change in our world, what exactly should the world focus on? What's the most important thing?
Yeah, thank you so much. That question is very important because the teachings and the actions that are happening in environment, out there when you go, you ask many people about environment, they will tell you, we are planting trees, people are cutting down trees, and we are planting millions and billions of trees. Yes, it's good, we need trees. Trees gives us a lot, and say, I don't deny that aspect, but the level of environmental degradation, the impact of climate change that we have today, we cannot solve it by growing trees only. Actually, we need to use people need to learn to use the word of growing trees, because planting trees, people have been planting millions of trees, leaving them there. Then you go back 1 year, you cannot find them. So people need to nurture those trees, need to continue visiting them, watering them, talking to them until they grow. But most important thing, people need to pay attention on oil, gas, and the coal mining happening in many countries here, and invite now the transition and a just transition toward the use of renewable energy, because pollution of our atmosphere, environments, pollution of water and the food that we eat, this is what is affecting humanity today and affecting our earth. You know, if you go in the hospitals today, you see majority of people who are lying there is about either food poison, is about air pollution, things related to respiratory. It's all about environment. And now that fossil fuel industry is powerful. It comes with the global north. It comes with a lot of money. It has a lot of forces that oppress communities. Today there is what we call environmental injustice, and that environmental injustice goes to oppressing local communities who do not have even a say or opportunity to say no. And it comes with also issues of bad governance, corruptions, like it is not safe for people. So we need to have now a discussion of safety of communities when we bring developments. Our community is involved. Do they have a right information? And do they have right to say no? Because that is very important for any development that we are bringing. This is what we are observing in many countries in Africa. And we see that there has been now a system against peoples in the communities, which is very dangerous because it affects a whole sovereignty of our countries, of our communities, in food that we eat, on our democracy, on our social life, on our health. It becomes a problem because it affects the basic dimensions of life. And now we need the phase out of that fossil fuel industry and have them to embrace renewable energy. We need our government, we need our system and our private company, our business people to embrace promotion of renewable energy. God created this, the sun to give us energy, and it contributes also to light and the agriculture. The moon does the same. We get winds in Africa for free and every day. We have enough water in many countries in Africa that other countries in the global north do not have. And all this contribute in promoting renewable energy. And they know where countries in Africa, in the world, in 2030, they will be evaluated on sustainable development goals, because SDGs will be evaluated in 2030. That is the agenda. Now, in Africa, we have more than 100 million of Africans who do not have access to energy.
Yeah.
And that is a sign that development is impossible. When we have communities that do not have energy for education, in health, we need it, it's basic. We need it in community development, in small activities. So we will remain with the poor communities. And now the climate change is affecting poor communities and the poor infrastructures because we are enforced in that poverty. So that is why we need to focus the discussion, that imbalance between the global north and the global south. Debt cancellation should be a discussion, and this is a call to action in this period because we are celebrating the season of creation, which is celebrated annually from 1st of September to 4th of October, which is the date of St. Francis of Assisi. Yes. And that is the call to action, the debt cancellation. Do we really owe, like the debt that we are told, as countries in the global south, do we owe the global north, or is it the global north that owe the global south? Because the global north developed themselves from what they got from the global south. So Pope Francis calls for a fair dialogue so that we can be able to save our common home and our communities, because nobody is safe until we are all safe. And everybody needs to be involved in this discussion, because we have a problem of today of people who do not care, and yet when there will be no food at the market, when the water will dry in the rivers all over, then we will know that money means nothing.
Wow, sure. Environment, sure, it's a wider topic, which I believe I'll still invite you in the course of this month so that we can dwell much into some of this aspect affecting environment and climate in Africa and of course in the whole world. We have come to the end of our program. I've run out of my time. Now I'd like you to talk of just one word using that camera, your last take, sure.
I would like to invite everybody to join us in celebrating the season of creation. It has started the 1st of September, which is a special date that have been created by faith groups in the region to care for our creation, and we are expecting that it will be a special date also for the Catholic Church in their liturgical calendar to be the Feast of Creation. And we go up to 4th of October, which is the date of St. Francis of Assisi. We have a whole month. Take action on care for creation. Pray for creation. Live in harmony with the creation. Let us all work together to serve our common home and our communities affected. I thank you so much.
Penzi mtazamaji, tumefikia tamati mwa taarifa zetu za habari. Nimekuwa wako Alan Ndiva. Kwa heri mtazamaji.
Endelea kutazama Capuchin TV, kitambulisho Katoliki.